This is Karahan Tepe. This site is more than just an ordinary archaeological discovery. It is the oldest known permanent settlement on Earth. It can be traced back to the pre-pottery Neolithic era, spanning from around 9,500 to 10,000 BC, making it nearly an astounding 12,000 years old. The discovery of Karahan Tepe is nothing less than a paradigm shift, shattering entrenched beliefs about the history of civilization. It was once universally accepted that advanced civilizations could not have existed during this period. Furthermore, conventional wisdom held that the advent of agriculture was a prerequisite for the development of complex stone and wooden architecture, necessitating stable, settled communities. Yet Karahan Tepe defies these historical dogmas, suggesting that our understanding of ancient human progress may be fundamentally flawed. The architectural sophistication found at this site has led some to speculate that it may have been created by a highly advanced civilization in southeast Anatolia, possibly linked to legendary figures such as the Watchers from the Book of Enoch or the Annunaki from Sumerian tradition. Is it possible that these extraterrestrial beings actually played a role in constructing these massive ancient monuments? This may sound implausible, but in this video, we'll present compelling evidence collected by distinguished experts that lends credibility to this claim. Before we dive into this intriguing theory, let's first take a brief look at this important archaeological site, located just over 45 kilometers to the east of Göbekli Tepe, often regarded as its more famous counterpart. Karahan Tepe was first discovered in 1997. Situated in the upland region of the Tek Mountains within Turkey's southeastern Anatolia region, known as the Taş Tepeler, this site represents a crucial moment in history, marking humanity's transition from a nomadic way of life to settled agriculture and permanent settlement. The terrain around Karahan Tepe is somewhat gentler, with the site positioned approximately 2,096 feet above sea level. Covering an area of 325,000 square meters, this historical site is considerably smaller than the Göbekli Tepe site. Despite its smaller size, it boasts comparable features, including T-shaped pillars, special structures, obelisks, and intricately carved animal sculptures. This led archaeologists to speculate that the same culture was responsible for building these two important sites. Archaeologists have catalogued 274 architectural elements at this site, with at least 266 of these being still standing pillars. Notably, several pillars are adorned with exquisite reliefs that depict snakes and human faces, highlighting the artistic and cultural complexity of the site's inhabitants. As a matter of fact, it's here that experts were able to unearth the oldest known depictions of a human in history. It's a 7-foot-tall sculpture with distinctly recognizable facial details, along with meticulously carved elements representing the spine, ribs, and shoulders, showcasing the advanced artistic skills of its artists. One of the most intriguing features of Karahan Tepe is its architectural remains and construction techniques. The site showcases exceptional instances of early mud brick construction alongside the use of stone for sturdy foundations. These structures highlight the resourcefulness and ingenuity of early humans as they transitioned to a settled lifestyle. The excavations have revealed as well a wealth of artifacts and tools, offering us a glimpse into their colorful daily lives and their practices. The circular rooms at Karahan Tepe were meticulously planned, showcasing a prehistoric mastery of architectural engineering through the skillful manipulation of bedrock. The construction of various structures, each serving a unique purpose, suggests a sophisticated belief system. Although it might be premature to describe this as a formalized religion, the site undoubtedly facilitated a range of precise and deliberate rituals. This is evident in a chamber that houses one of the earliest and most significant examples of phallic symbolism. Experts believe that this space, which features a separate entrance and exit along with a water channel, was used for rites of passage. A key feature of the excavated site is an expansive oval enclosure featuring both cut limestone and shaped bedrock pillars along its perimeter, with two notably larger pillars at the center. The function of the T-shaped pillars at both sites remains a topic of intense debate. Some argue that their primary purpose was to support roofs, suggesting that the choice of stone over wood was intended to offer superior structural stability. Another camp proposes that the enclosures functioned as open-air observatories, aligned with celestial bodies, and the pillars served as alignments for specific stars and constellations. This theory does have its limitations. Notably, many of these structures were semi-subterranean, either constructed in lower parts of the settlement or built along slopes. Such locations might not be ideally suited for astronomical observations. Additionally, the skepticism about their function as observatories is reinforced by the close proximity of these enclosures to each other. If their primary use was celestial observation, wouldn't it make more sense to position them at higher elevations to ensure unobstructed views of the sky? An alternative view proposes that the T-shaped pillars may have symbolized deities due to their anthropomorphic characteristics. These pillars often feature V-shaped human arms that terminate with hands clasping their navels, and some are decorated with cup marks. However, the exact identities represented by these stylized T-shaped pillars are still unknown, as it is not conclusively established whether the concept of gods existed during this time. Regardless of the intended function of these structures, it remains indisputable that they exhibit remarkable complexity for a settlement dating back 12,000 years. It appears that the builders had a well-developed, tried and tested construction method, and indeed, it proved effective since the building was used across many generations. The key structural elements have endured for thousands of years, which is a testament to the sophistication of their architecture. Even with our modern technology, it's uncertain whether our buildings will stand the same test of time for future generations to experience. This brings us to the question of who built it. The sophisticated architecture of these ancient structures has sparked intense speculation about the origins of such advanced knowledge. Some experts marvel at how the construction techniques seem almost miraculous, suggesting that the inhabitants of ancient Anatolia evolved from primitive hunter-gatherers to masterful engineers and builders in what appears to be an overnight transformation. Thus, it is hardly surprising that some theories suggest an advanced civilization might have arrived and shared their knowledge with the local inhabitants. This civilization is thought to have originated not from Earth, but instead from beyond our planet. This perspective finds support from prominent archaeologists like Andrew Collins, as elaborated in his published work Karahan Tepe, Civilization of the Anunnaki and the Cosmic Origins of the Serpent of Eden. In Sumerian tradition, the Anunnaki are regarded as the original rulers, often equated with the seven sages and considered similar to the biblical angels or the Watchers in the Book of Enoch. More than 400,000 years ago, the Anunnaki, meaning those who came from the heavens, a race of extraterrestrial beings, arrived on Earth in search of gold. It is believed that they settled in a place known as Dooku, or Holy Mound, where the gods Enki and Enlil, leaders of the Anunnaki, are said to have gifted humanity with the first grain and sheep. Researcher Klaus Schmidt has suggested that Mount Doku, which may be connected to the mythical Dooku, could be associated with Göbekli Tepe. The Anunnaki are noted for their purported advanced knowledge in agriculture and enhancing land fertility. Recent research supports this, revealing that many ancient sites may have harnessed the Earth's natural magnetism and telluric currents to boost the growth potential of seeds and grains before planting. These scientific discoveries have given rise to a new field of study, indicating that ancient civilizations had a deep knowledge of the best locations for constructing their sites. Known for prioritizing fertility rituals and astronomical alignments crucial for agriculture, these findings prompt the question of whether ancient shamanic elites possessed a more nuanced understanding of nature that significantly boosted their agricultural productivity. Further intriguing evidence comes from Göbekli Tepe, where studies have identified a spiraling magnetic field on the pillars. Such magnetism has been shown to significantly enhance the vitality of living organisms, tripling crop yields, enlarging crop size, improving frost resistance, and facilitating easier hybridization. The discovery of a spiraling magnetic field at Göbekli Tepe strongly suggests that a similar phenomenon may have existed at Karahan Tepe, potentially explaining the deliberate choice of these sites' locations. The geological composition of the area, primarily limestone abundant in magnesium, a known conductor of electricity, lends credence to this theory. Furthermore, the strategic placement of these sites on elevated hilltops may enhance their interaction with telluric currents. This idea is supported by the presence of stone cairns at the highest points of these sites, believed to attract such currents. Notably, the Tek Mountains, known for their numerous cairns, feature two significant ones located directly on Karahan Tepe itself. In addition, the serpent motif is highly noticeable in Karahan Tepe's art. This suggests that snakes may have held significant cultural importance for the builders of the site. Andrew Collins highlights that one pillar, found in 1997 and currently housed at Harran University, displays a snake with features reminiscent of human sperm, including a round, bulbous head and a wavy body. Another pillar, discovered during unauthorized excavations, features only the dome-shaped head of a snake. Additionally, a bowl fragment from the same era, featuring a relief of a zigzagging snake, emphasizes the significance of serpentine motifs at the site. The winding stone paths might symbolize the serpentine path of snakes moving from the northern slope of the hill to the valley below, potentially representing lightning. This interpretation is supported by the orientation of carvings on the pillars along the eastern and southeastern pathways, which are primarily directed uphill, indicating that the intended processional route likely led downward into the valley. Isn't it intriguing that central to Sumerian legends of the Anunnaki is the motif of the snake? These legends hold that the Anunnaki engineered humans, designing our species to serve as laborers. According to these tales, human DNA contains elements akin to snake DNA, suggesting a serpentine ancestry. Thus, the double helix structure of our DNA is seen not merely as a biological marvel, but as a testament to our serpentine origins. Supporting the genetic assertions are numerous ancient sculptures and reliefs that depict the Anunnaki alongside serpentine imagery. Some contend that these artifacts go beyond mere artistic expression, serving instead as symbolic depictions of the Anunnaki's genetic manipulation of early humans. However, beyond the mysteries of who built Karahan Tepe and how, there remains the unresolved question of why the site was suddenly abandoned. Like Göbekli Tepe, Karahan Tepe also appears to have been abandoned around 8000 BC, and the reasons for this remain unclear. However, the emergence of agriculture and animal husbandry around 9000 BC across the region could have prompted shifts in religious practices to accommodate these new ways of life, which resulted in the desertion of the site. But the mystery of the site doesn't end here. Similar to its sister site, Karahan Tepe was buried, though whether this was the result of intentional actions or natural processes is still unclear. It's conceivable that the site was naturally buried after being abandoned, but its hilltop location makes this scenario improbable. Typically, sediment does not accumulate on hilltops, which are more prone to erosion than deposition. Therefore, it's more plausible that the structures were deliberately buried. But why? Several explanations were presented for why the structures were buried. One theory suggests that the site was buried to preserve it for future generations. Alternatively, the rise of a new religion in the area may have required the burial of an old religious sanctuary. Another possibility is that over time, the site was deemed taboo and consequently buried. Another feasible explanation, particularly if the site was a religious sanctuary, is that the burial was part of a desanctification process. Across many cultures, objects or structures deemed to possess supernatural or divine significance are often required to be destroyed or neutralized when they are no longer in use. For instance, in many Christian traditions, an altar in a church that is to be abandoned or repurposed must undergo ritual desanctification. This prevents the sacred altar from being inadvertently used for mundane purposes, which could constitute sacrilege. However, for those inclined towards conspiracy theories, it prompts the question, is this one of numerous efforts to hide revolutionary discoveries that could fundamentally challenge the established narratives we've long accepted? As with many enduring mysteries, Only time will reveal the definitive answers to these questions. In the meantime, we continue to marvel at the archaeological wonders our ancestors left behind, which demonstrate that humans have always possessed innovation and creativity, even in ancient times. There are other ancient massive structures that left scientists baffled because the construction techniques used were too advanced for their time. Be sure to check this out next.